How we doing after lunch, first of all? Is everybody awake? Oftentimes it's tough. They put you in a dark room after they fill you up with food. And, we've been in dark rooms all day. So I'll do my best to keep us all awake and alive and alert here. That's me. And we're going to talk about not only why QBRs are stupid, but they are. They're just dumb. And I think a lot of people in here probably agree with me. Some of you might be thinking, that's crazy. How can they be stupid? We all do them. We've all done them. And that's kind of the point. And most importantly, what I'm here to talk to you about is how to make them smart. All right, cool. So talk about how they're stupid, but give me some ideas on how to make them not stupid. So here's what we're going to cover. By the way, I am the Chief Revenue Officer, Success Coaching. This is a unicorn, if you could not tell. We are all unicorns, including myself, if we get the right tools. That's the idea. And we do training and education. We have certifications, actually, in customer success management. You can go become a certified project manager or Salesforce administrator, and now you can become a certified customer success manager. So I'll tell you more about that later, but honestly, I promise to not bore you to death, so let's save that for the end, right? Okay, so we're going to talk about, first off, I'm going to define what a quarterly business review is and what it is not, as importantly, okay? And then from there, I'll talk about why these are a necessary evil in my eyes. They are something we have to do, but they suck. They suck for the customer, and they've sucked for years. And yet nobody has ever said or taken a stand and said, I'm going to do this differently, or can we do this differently? Or do we have to do them at all? That's the question. Number 3, how can we make them smart or smarter? And then I'll go through a way for you to kind of assess your own QBR process today. And hopefully you can walk out of here with some ideas of how to make them better for your customers. But before I get started with all of that, I want to make sure that we're on the same page about a couple of real core. Can you still hear me? Am I talking too loud and we lowered the mic and know we're good? Okay, yeah, I know I talk loud. I always talk to the back of the room. So a couple of things just to make sure we're on the same page to get started here, okay? First off, the definition of success. Has everybody seen this definition by this point? If this is new to you, great note to take. Luckily for me and my little chicken brain, when I found customer success about 8 years ago, give or take, I found this definition. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can even understand that. So it comes down to a very simple formula. The customer's definition of success, and when I say customer, I don't mean account. I don't mean logo. I mean human, a holistic human, who has their own roles and responsibilities and things that they have to do, ways that they can get promoted, ways that they will maybe get fired. How can we help them achieve their definition of success as a holistic human with a personal life, family, friends, things they love to do, and a professional life, colleagues, bosses, teammates, and things hopefully they love to do, but oftentimes we need to do. And I'm going to talk more about that in the closing keynote today at, I think it's about 4 o'clock or something like that later this afternoon, around what that looks like. But that definition comes down to what I want to accomplish, my desired outcome, and how I want to accomplish it, my desired experience. It's that simple. The reason you came to this conference today was to accomplish something. Networking, education, just getting out of your home office finally after COVID. Can we all just take a big sigh of relief that we're here? I mean, give yourselves a round of applause for God's sake. Like you're here, you're out here doing it. We're alive, we're awake, and we're alert. And so what we want to accomplish and how we want to accomplish it. I've got your attention for 30 minutes, or probably more like 15 until you tune me out, unless I can keep your attention through a desired experience of sitting here and listening to me in a dark room. And hopefully, you get what you want out of these 30 minutes with me, okay? And your customers are the same way. Why you buy a cup of coffee at wherever you go, or espresso, whatever you do in the morning, the gym that you go to, the beach that you go to. By the way, Tel Aviv is like my favorite place in the world. I love this city. I was here in 2019 for the first customer conference and blown away. And I got a few days to go check out some pretty amazing stuff. This trip, I flew in yesterday. I fly out tonight, so I don't get to have any fun with you all. But I'm still happy to be here, and it was just amazing to see what's changed in the last 3 years in this city. But you know what hasn't changed? That vibrant waterfront. I mean, it's just unbelievable what you got down there. You got like gyms outside. There's like everybody working out. There's like a swimming pool. And it was beautiful sunshine yesterday. And you got the Mediterranean. It's just unbelievable. I love it. Anyway, the 3 Ds of customer success. And this is what it all comes down to. And I've written some articles about this. I'll point you to a website where you can go read those for free if you'd like. But everything we do, all of this really complicated stuff of customer success management comes down to 3 Ds. You're going to define what success is. Oh, and spoiler alert, there's how. You're going to talk to them about what do you want to accomplish and how do you want to accomplish it. You're then going to deliver that over time, every day, week, month, working with your customers. You got your executive stakeholder, you got your champions, you got your end users, you got your administrators. They all have different definitions, by the way. Again, humans, not accounts, okay? And so we're going to deliver that for them, all of them, as best we can, every day, week, month, quarter. And then the 3rd D is demonstrate. You have to demonstrate to me the value you've been providing so I have no doubt of what I'm getting from it. And that is where QBRs come in. Okay, so how do QBRs apply? So if those 2 things are kind of the background of customer success in terms of the definition, the formula, and then the 3 Ds on what we're going to do, again, define, deliver, and demonstrate. Well, that last D is where the QBRs come in, or some kind of business review. I must understand without a shadow of a doubt the value that I'm getting from my time, most importantly. That's the other thing, by the way, in terms of resources with your customers. They care 10x on their time versus their money. It's not their money usually anyway, it's the company's. It's always their time. We can always make more money. We'll never make more time. And so be really, really conscious about that. Be self-aware about every second you take from your customer's life, because that's their time. It may be their company's money, but we all view our time as our own personal entity, and we all know we can't make any more of it. And so that's where the need, why we have to do business reviews is because they fall into that demonstration D. If you don't demonstrate to me the value I'm getting from my time in your product or service or solution, then why am I going to keep spending that time? Same thing with my subscription or my contract or my fee or whatever the dollars and cents look like as well. Okay, so now let's talk about what is a QBR. We all know, right? It's like a meeting we have once a quarter where we talk about stuff, right? But really, what is it at its core? And at Success Coaching, this is how we define what a QBR is. It is a consistently delivered customer event. It doesn't have to be a meeting, though. It's an event that happens consistently with your customers, and it's in this regular event where we can discuss their business goals, how to help them achieve them, etc. But make no mistake, the number one goal of your business review exercise, activity, effort is the 3rd D, to demonstrate the value you've been providing to them. If you don't do that, they won't renew. No one will. Why would I if I don't know what I'm getting out of my time and resources with you? And so that's the goal. All the other stuff, and we'll talk about some positive outcomes of effectively delivered business reviews, those are all cherry on the top, value add. If we have to choose one thing to accomplish out of our business review effort, it's to demonstrate the value that you've been delivered or delivering that is in line with the definition that we established with that holistic human. Does that make sense? All good? Okay. All right, so it's an event, doesn't have to be a meeting. We're going to outline the business goals. In other words, desired outcomes that they're looking to accomplish, that maybe they have accomplished, etc. And then how we can help support them in achieving those. That's it. That's all we have to do. We're going to have a regular event, and they can change. By the way, the whole concept of quarterly is just stupid. Anybody's life consistent? Of course not, right? You got holidays, you got busy times, not busy times. Depending on the industry that you're in, there's going to be different times of the year that you're more busy versus less busy. Yet somewhere, sometime in the history of customer success, somebody decided we're going to do it quarterly, as though that makes any sense at all. Your life isn't consistent, neither is your customers. So why the heck are we demonstrating value on a consistent basis the same way? It doesn't make any sense. Just the Q alone of QBRs is stupid. But also how we do it is stupid. What we try to accomplish in them is stupid. And that's what I'm going to keep outlining as we go through the rest of this. Okay, so what is a QBR? Let me give you a little more definition behind it. First off, we're going to focus on the business goals and our support moving forward, okay? Just accomplished that, talked about that on the last slide. They are 100% strategic, 0% tactical. I got news for you, folks. Your customer didn't want the support ticket that you try to tout as a positive thing because you hit your initial response time in your service level agreement. Does that ring true with anybody? You go into a business review and you're like, here's how many support tickets we opened and closed. Here's how quickly we responded to all of those support tickets, as though that is adding value to your customer. I didn't want the bug in the first place, right? Don't act like it's great that you fixed the problem that I never anticipated or wanted in the first place. That's just getting you back to the waterline. You're just back to even now. That's not strategic. That's tactical. If your customer wants to go into the weeds about a bug that they're pissed off about, maybe you can get them to stay strategic, or maybe they're so hot they're like, nope, we're diving in. Fine. Go down that rabbit hole, but realize the rest of that meeting is no longer a business review. It's some support, escalation, de-escalation topic or something else, okay? All right, 100% strategic, 0% tactical. Combination of reflection and future, 50-50. So we're talking strategically about business outcomes and goals. Again, the COs that we defined up front in our relationship with them. So we're not making this up. This is stuff that we agreed to with them in our success planning function, hopefully. And I don't have time to get into what that looks like in this call, Yeah, I've been doing Zoom for like 3 years. Yeah, this is a whole new thing. I'm so excited to be on a stage, have a mic. I swear, this is mind-blowing for me. I wasn't sure we'd ever get to this point again. 50% future, 50% retro, 100% strategic. The frequency, that should change. And how you deliver it should change because your customer's life isn't consistent. To try to drag them into a 1-hour presentation every 3 months it's just not smart. It's just dumb. It's just stupid. Let's just stop doing it. Let's get smarter with how we do this. And when we do that, by the way, and we drag them into that meeting quarter after quarter, eventually they quit coming if they're not getting value from it. We've all seen that. But we actually are adding friction to the CX part of that formula when all we were trying to do was demonstrate the COs that we've been delivering. Does that make sense? Right? Like you're agitating me that I have to now come to this meeting every quarter, and all your goal is to do that third D. And so you actually degrade the overall volume of success for that holistic human, that customer. It has to include the key stakeholders. If you do not have your executive stakeholder, your buyer, your ultimate decision maker in that meeting, it is not a business review. It's something else. Because again, it's about demonstrating the value to that decision maker. We can gain a deeper understanding of their business goals and direction and strategy, etc. We can have a checkpoint on their customer journey. This is a great time to kind of reflect. Again, 50% retro, 50% perspective, 100% strategic. And then finally, we can understand the wider business context and hopefully get aligned with what they're looking to do strategically and find ways that we can help them achieve that. That's really the best case scenario as we exit a business review. So I already touched on this a little bit, but the whole question of why do we do these in the first place? And I've got a few different points here. First off, these are like some positive outcomes that you'll achieve when you do these effectively. You will have increased alignment if you have a good conversation with them about it. You'll have increased trust because you can show them, look, we talked about your definition of success, and here's what we've done with you to help you achieve these desired outcomes, these COs of your formula. That's going to build trust in you from me, your customer, because you're showing me, you're demonstrating to me the value that I'm getting. It instills confidence, drives progress. Drives progress is a big one because you can accomplish a lot in a business review in a very short period of time that might take you months on email. So again, positive outcomes from it. And then as a best practice, develop a business review playbook. Do you all have playbooks? Everybody got playbooks? Who's got playbooks? Some of you, not everybody. Okay. Customer success is really driven by playbooks because we want consistency through the organization so that all of our customers receive the same customer experience. Now, you're going to have that differed based on segment, high touch, low touch, tech touch, et cetera. But with your business reviews, it should be the same way. You should develop a playbook so that you can do them the same across the organization. All right, so then how can we make them smart or smarter? There's 3 stages to an effective business review. The first and the most time-consuming is preparation. This should take the majority of your time. Typically speaking, for any public speaking event or presentation, big-time training and instructional design guy, this is a big part of my career, about 8 hours of prep for every 1 hour of delivery. And so if I'm going to do a business review, this should be the heaviest lift of the effective business review. This is the hardest part, right? Do you know how many SaaS vendors an average VP has? So if I'm a VP of marketing, how many SaaS products I pay to every month or year or whatever? Anybody got a guess? 30 is a little high. 18 is still a little high. 13. Lucky number 13. Yeah, 12 is close. Yeah, it's like the Price is Right or something, right? Like closest retail price without going over. Yeah, 13, right? And so if I'm a VP, I've got 13 CSMs. All of them are asking me for business reviews. All of them want to do them quarterly, and they all want them to be a 60-minute presentation to me about how great they are, right? Telling me about how awesome their company is and all the things that they do, right? And so I can't say yes to every one of them, or else that's all I would do. And so that's the hardest part, is getting them in the room. Well, one way to do that is to tease out a what's in it for me. Why should they attend? What's the value they're going to get? And so you got to get creative. Start thinking about what they can learn in this business review that they wouldn't be able to learn. Maybe it's a roadmap insight. Maybe I can show you the new version of the product that isn't even in beta yet, but I got like the demo version or something. Maybe it's benchmarking data where I can share your usage compared to other customers like you. Whatever the case may be, you've got to give me something if you want me to come to this meeting. And again, I can't say yes to every one of these. And so that's the hardest part, getting them in the room. The WIFM helps you do that. All right, create a compelling agenda that really gets them fired up about what they're going to achieve in there. Preview the value, and away you go. The next stage, delivery. That's stage number 2. As you go to deliver these, make them engaging. Make it a present or a conversation, not a presentation. You should come ready to ask more questions than you are going to make statements. A great tactic for anyone who's interviewing for a job is if you can get the interviewer to talk in that interview more than you do, they will walk out feeling like that was a great interview. Because that's psychologically, a lot of us like to talk. And so I'm going to talk later about kind of how to approach that, but do everything you can to make it engaging. It doesn't have to be 60 minutes. It doesn't have to be even a conversation. I'm going to talk about a few examples later on some areas that I know people in this room have received as a customer and didn't even realize it was a business review. And I'll talk about that in a second as well. Be curious. Intentionally curious mind. Approach these conversations and every conversation with your customers with an intentionally curious mind. You want to come with questions. You want to understand, even if they're upset, especially if they're upset about a bug. And they want to talk to you about that. You want to be curious and uncover what the real impact was, and how should it have worked, etc. And so you're going to set your mindset right. We call it taking a consultative approach at success coaching. And with that, it's open-ended questions, active listening, and storytelling. If you can do those three effectively when you communicate with your customers, you will learn about them and find those new outcomes that you can help alleviate. Outcomes all come down to pains to relieve or gains to achieve. They're all one or the other. And I want to know about as many of those for you as a human as I possibly can so that I can help you achieve those. Let's see, avoid the rabbit holes, right? Like I said, if they want to talk about some support thing or something, you can do that, but it's no longer a business review. Reinforce the value proposition. Here's how we've helped you achieve X, Y, and Z. Review the progress along their customer journey. Oh, let me get out of the way. Oh, reinstill a sense of mutual accountability. We talk about an analogy of a road trip. And is this timer right, by the way? 9 minutes? Do I have nine minutes? That's right? Okay, cool. All right, I'm good. I just want to make sure that I'm not going to take you guys over as well. Mutual accountability. So when you are building a relationship with a customer, we use the analogy of a road trip. And they are the driver. The product or service that they use, it's nothing but a tool. That is the car on the road trip. You are the navigator helping them understand where to go. And the success plan, if anybody attended Perry's talk this morning, the success plan is the roadmap on this journey that we're going on together. And that actually helps them understand that they are accountable for their success. They're the ones using the product. They're the ones driving the car. I'm here to help you know how to drive it and where to drive it and when and why to drive it, but you're the one driving it. You're the one using it. What we want to avoid is that customer who you might have heard this, can't you just do it for me? Right? You ever heard that question? Right? And that means they don't understand that this is a mutual accountability relationship. Okay, and then the last stage of an effective business review, your follow-up stage. Again, we're going to ensure the accountability, escalate blockers. If we decide in a business review that you're going to get me X, Y, or Z, and then you don't, I need to already have an escalation path in place, meaning in the business review where you've got your stakeholder and your champion, we're going to determine if I don't hear from that champion by Friday, then I'm going to email the executive stakeholder. That way I can keep things moving to help you accomplish whatever it was that we came up with as a goal. And then last but certainly not least, in fact probably one of the most important parts, update your success plan. They're moving from one point to another point on the path to their desired outcomes. Okay, so think about your own process and do a little self-evaluation, keeping in mind the definition of success. Again, CS equals CO plus CX. And then those 3 Ds I talked about. Everybody say them with me. Ready? Define. No? Okay. Everybody say them with me. Define. Deliver. Demonstrate. Okay, one more time. This side of the room. Define. Deliver. Demonstrate. Okay, I'll give you a C. Can you guys beat a C plus? Define. Deliver. Demonstrate. I like you. I like your style. Let's keep everybody awake. I can see somebody over here is falling asleep. There she is. Not going to call you out, but yeah, I saw you. Okay, so now ask yourself the following. Is their definition captured? Do you have it captured? Have you ever had that exercise where you actually document what do they want to accomplish, COs, and how do they want to accomplish it, CXs? And if you have they agreed? Have you talked with them about, yes, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to do it, and if we do both of those things, we both will agree that that is success. Okay, number 3, have we delivered it? And do we know? Do we have KPIs, key performance indicators? Do we have metrics to be able to prove it? By the way, in customer success, we are constantly trying to quantify the qualitative. Gut feel and happiness scores don't mean nothing. Angry customers stay all the time. Happy customers leave all the time. It's because they either are or are not achieving their desired outcome. My telecom provider at home, I can't stand them, but I pay my bill every month because it's the only way for me to get high-speed internet. Yeah. Once there's another option, I'll jump ship in a heartbeat. So I'm a disgruntled, angry customer, but I stay all the time. And we see happy customers leave all the time. So have we delivered that definition? And once again, do they agree? Have we had the conversations? Have they confirmed for you that yes, you have done X, Y, Z, achieved 1, 2, 3 outcome? And then finally, have we demonstrated that delivery? And once again, have all parties agreed? It's all about this communication and doing this with the customer. And again, conversation, not presentation. If you have any no's in there, that's where you got to start. You will never have an effective business review if you haven't nailed those 3 Ds that I talked about. And when you do nail those 3 Ds, especially the demonstration portion, and you do it a different way than the other 12 SaaS vendors, the other 12 SaaS vendors that VP has, now you can actually increase the overall volume of success through the business review activity, as opposed to decrease it because you're adding friction to their CX portion of that formula. Okay, so once we can get to all yeses, away we go, and now I just urge you to get creative. It doesn't have to be this way. Anybody watch Shark Tank or anything like that, right? Yeah, right? There must be another way, right? Every pitch goes down that rabbit hole. There must be a better way for us to do business reviews. Again, keeping in mind the number one goal. Demonstrate the value you've been delivering that is straight out of the definition that you came up with that customer, right? That's what it's all about, demonstration of that value. So some ideas. Dear Lord, make it a conversation. Walk in with one slide that has 5 questions and watch their mind get blown. Instead of 75 slides that, this is the worst one. You go into a business review and the first 5-10 minutes is about your company, your founding story, where you're based, the customers that you work with. I don't care. I don't care. I care about me, just like all of you care about you. I'm not saying we're not empathetic and think of other people and everything else. Sure. But at the core, your customer is concerned with their business milestones, achievements, things that they need to accomplish, and it's our goal to just figure out how to help them. So make it a conversation, not a presentation. There's that intentionally curious mind, once more. Literally, walking in, I'm going to be curious in this conversation. I'm going to ask those 2nd and 3rd level questions. I'm going to exercise active listening. Perry talked about that earlier today as well, writing it down, and so that you can repeat it back. That's what makes it active listening. Repeating back to you, in my words, what you said, and having you confirm, yes, that's what you meant, or no, it's not. Provide exclusive insights and data. Again, benchmarking data, how do I compare against other customers, roadmap insights, whatever you have unique information that I don't have as your customer. Especially if you work with other customers like me, maybe in the same vertical or industry. Earlier in my career, I had T-Mobile, I also had Sprint, and I also had Verizon. So I could show them telecom provider benchmarking data, and that was always very interesting to them for obvious reasons. Oh, here we go. Build it with the champion. Don't build the customer or the business review talk track in a vacuum. Build it with the champion, and you're building it for the executive stakeholder. Use the metrics that they talk about internally. Use their vernacular internally so that you can speak their language. It's all about them if you are going to actually have this meeting, for example. And then defer any possible credit to that champion. Make them look good in front of their boss. That's what creates advocates. If I can help you get promoted or get a bonus or whatever, be successful in your own world, I now have deepened my relationship with you. And now maybe you leave or get promoted up to another role, whatever the case may be, and you'll bring me with you. And I can tell you real world examples, but I've got seconds left until we can move on with our lives. Number 6, this is the big one. Fix the cadence into their CX, not yours. Just because you decided you're going to do this quarterly doesn't mean shit to them. I know I used a bad word. Did it get everybody awake? Are you awake over there? All right, she's good. Leverage technology and automation if you can. Not every company has a big technology stack or budget for it, but if you can, leverage it, and you can get creative with how you demonstrate the value that you've been delivering, and I'll show you that example that I alluded to a minute ago. And then always, 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 number 8, remember the number one goal. That's it. I'm here to demonstrate the value that we've been delivering, and I can do that in a myriad of ways. For example, Spotify. Who's got Spotify? Almost everybody in the room. Did you know that you get an annual business review from Spotify every year? That is nothing other than a business review done at massive scale by leveraging customer engagement, unique data and insights, showing me my unique listening habits and behaviors so that I know the value I got for my $9 a month all year last year. It's not a coincidence they do it at the beginning right around New Year's so that you don't axe it off of your P&L, which is your credit card statement, because we all at the end of the year are looking, man, we got a lot of subscription services. Which ones can we get rid of? Spotify's being proactive and showing you the value that you're getting with that annual business review of 2021 Wrapped, or whatever year Wrapped. So in conclusion, QBRs are plain old stupid when we do them like we have been. The sooner we admit that, the sooner we can start fixing the problem. We must rid ourselves of this overly time-consuming, valueless, and friction-filled activity for our customers and start demonstrating value without the increased friction within the customer experience. There's where you can find more. redslacks.com is my free site. Articles, public speaking, this will be on there once I get it. Podcasts, etc. Successcoaching.co is where you can go find more training and education if you're interested. Thank you so much for hanging with me after lunch. I hope to see you all on main stage later.